Well, welcome to another episode of Last American Standing. Boy, I've been talking to a lot of people that are just really upset about Social Security being bankrupt and how the Federal Reserve is printing money to cover that debt and inflation skyrocketing in America. If you look at the numbers from like 2006 to 2016, in many cases, a lot of things have almost tripled in price. Meaning, if you haven't gotten a pay raise, if you're making $30,000 a year and you're not making $90,000 a year now for the same work you were doing, you took a pay cut, my friend. That's just the way it is. You can look straight across the board. Go to the grocery store, check a loaf of bread. You know, the same loaves of bread that were 99 cents in 2016 are almost $3 a loaf now. $2.79, I think, is what the last time I was at the grocery market checking. It's a good way to keep up with inflation. Watch your grocery market pricing on your food supply. Okay, we're going to get into this. A lot of people are complaining about Social Security being bankrupt because of inflation caused by printing money and taxes. So, there is a solution. There's a simple solution. I've addressed this to congressmen, to House reps, to senators, and I always get turned down. And my solution gets turned down. And it doesn't get turned down because it won't work. They know it will work. It gets turned down because they tell me no one will get on board with it because it would require politicians to give up power to influence voters via their pocketbook, to tell them and basically threaten them, if you don't, they're going to cut your Social Security. They're going to do this to you. They're going to do that to you. I'm here to help you. You need to vote for me. They are coming after your pocketbooks, ladies and gentlemen, and they are using your money against you to force you to vote for things you don't believe in. And naturally, in self-defense, you're going to vote for survival. Who isn't? Who would actually vote themselves a pay cut? Well, to be honest, all of you have. Everybody that's living on Social Security today voted themselves a pay cut. And let me explain. If you look at the financial markets and how they performed over the last 50 years, if you had put your money for 20, 30, 40 years into it before you retired, you would have somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 5 times the retirement that you have today. Yeah, the markets outperform government Social Security by far. Not just a little bit, by far. So if you're sitting back drawing Social Security and you're making $800 a month, $1,200 a month, even $2,000 a month, think about this. You could have been making, those people making $800 a month, you could have been making $2,400 a month. Those people making $1,200 a month, you could have been making $3,600 a month. Oh, how about those people where there's 2 people drawing, they're making $2,000 a month? You could have been making $6,000 a month. Wow. That's pretty impressive, right? And if you'll notice, it actually correlates. The 3-to-1 ratio actually correlates with inflation. If you'll notice that, as inflation skyrockets, your adjustments were reduced by about 2/3 as inflation went up to about 300% of what it was in 2006. So, how do we solve this problem? How do we fix it? We know what the solution is. The solution is financial markets. The solution is taking 18-year-old people coming into the system. I mean, we've dug a deep hole here, ladies and gentlemen. We've dug a huge hole because we listened to people that wanted to control us and to control our retirement and to control our lives and basically enslave us to a system. So if you want freedom and you want liberty and you want to have a good retirement in your twilight years, there's a way we can help the people that are coming up on retirement now. And there's also a way we can help the people in the future. We embrace the markets. We take 18-year-olds today and we immediately put them into a financial free market system, retirement system. Sure, I know a lot of people are going to disagree and say, well, we shouldn't force people to contribute into the financial markets. Well, they're being forced to contribute into Social Security right now, and they're taking a 2/3 pay cut by the time they retire. By the time people in their 40s and 50s retire, they're probably going to be looking at 4/5 of their pay cut. So now this, by putting people in starting next year, if we did this next year, right, The taxation's still there going into Social Security. Like I said, we're going to have to dig our way out of the hole. We cannot abandon our old people in this country and kick them to the curb. And I don't think the majority of people would want to do that to begin with. So we're going to have to pay the piper. Peter's going to have to pay Paul. So when we put these people in a matter of 5 years, Social Security will be back in the green. Okay? It would be back in the green. In a matter of 10 years, people that were drawing Social Security would actually start seeing very significant pay raises in Social Security, which would actually start competing with inflation. So you wouldn't see that 2/3 pay drop right now. So we could actually turn this thing around. And as time went on, eventually everybody would be turned over to the free markets, and they would be, the whole idea whether they're forced to contribute or not forced to contribute, you're going to pay one way or the other. If people don't pay into a retirement when they get old, you're going to wind up having to take care of them. So, personal responsibility is a tough one. I understand that. But, do you want to pay for them, or do you want to pay for themselves? That's the question you have to ask yourselves. Do you think a person should be responsible enough to pay for themselves, or do you think that you just let them go willy-nilly and you can take care of them when they get old and gray, or just let them starve to death? You think that's, kick them to the curb, let them go live in a pasture and starve to death? You think that's a viable solution? I don't. I mean, none of these answers are easy answers. Let's be honest. But the one easy answer we have is the markets. That is the easiest answer we have to solving the Social Security problem right now. The one drawback to this game is this game plan will not work unless we can get millions of people on board to start pressuring congressmen, House reps, senators, pressure everyone, the President of the United States, to earmark Social Security for people's retirement. Earmark it for those individuals' retirement. Stop paying it to bank bailouts like we did. Stop paying it to fund foreign wars like we did. Okay? Stop paying people that move into the country for 6 months and they're drawing damn Social Security in this country and they never paid into the system. I feel their pain. But I have no control over where a person was born. And I have sympathy for them, absolutely. But for me to say, well, okay, I'm just going to give away everything I own because these people came from a bad area, that doesn't make any sense. What people need to do, instead of us picking up the downtrodden in these countries, that takes a lot of pressure off these countries, doesn't it? When we start giving aid out of Social Security, we start giving aid to these foreign countries, and then that alleviates that government from having any pressure from the people, right? Take some of the pressure off that government. Hell no, we need to let those people put pressure on that government to fix it. That's what needs to happen. We don't need to be bailing them out. We're enabling the problem around the globe when we do this. We need to cut it out. We're not helping. We're hurting the world when we do this. Earmark it. Let's start people off at 18 years old into individual retirement accounts. And get them back in the markets. Let's let it way outperform what Social Security's ever done in the history of Social Security. It's never competed with the markets. It's never been even close to the markets. So, this is a way we can fix Social Security. But remember, they're not going to want to do this because it will take away the power of them to control the vote with the purse strings. Because they won't be able to threaten people. If we did this, they wouldn't be able to threaten people with Social Security and retirement at the election booths because it would no longer be an issue on the table. Anyway, that's what we can do to help save this country. That's just a few steps we can take. Personal responsibility is a key role. Honor, integrity, ethics. Yeah, something very lacking in Washington, D.C. But the American people could hold people accountable, And for the life of me, I don't understand. We give billions of dollars out of the Treasury General Fund, which is where Social Security is right now and has been for a very long time, and that's the problem. Social Security needs to be yanked out of that General Fund, and like I say, it needs to be earmarked just for retirement of the citizens in this country. Those people didn't work for it. They're not the ones out here busting their tail every day. They're not the ones innovating. They're not the ones creating companies. They're not the ones changing the world. And if you want to be rewarded in life, you got to get up and you got to do and furnish some type of product, some type of service that helps people so you can get reimbursed for it. That's the way life works. You get paid for your deeds, not for your good looks. If I got paid for my good looks, I'd be broke. Hey, you guys have a good day. God bless.